Hey guys, and welcome to the video. We're going to be discussing the upcoming Marvels movie and taking a look at the disappointing pre-sale ticket numbers, so let's dive into this Marvel news. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and stay up to date with all the movie news going on around here, guys. So guys, we're going to take a look at this article here from cosmicbook.news. The Marvels box office estimated at $39 million, ticket sales in the gutter. Pre-sale tickets are said to be less than a third of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, guys, so it's no secret that, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of fans of Marvel who pretty much dislike Brie Larson. They don't really like her as an actress or a person. They feel that she can't act, or they just don't like her for other reasons. And, it has a knock-on effect to these Marvel films. And, people are kind of fed up with the generic movies as well that, Marvel's putting out. And the Marvels look set to be another one of those cookie cutter Marvel sort of generic superhero movies that we've now seen 100 times, so a lot of people just aren't that interested. But anyway, guys, let's dive into the article and see if we can learn a little bit more about what is going on. So, following tickets going on sale Tuesday, it's claimed that the Marvel ticket pre-sales are in the gutter and are less than a third of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which could mean the flick may open to less than $39 million. Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3 actually opened soft, but due to word of mouth, the flick had good legs and ended with a successful box office. Yeah, guys, just to go off on a tangent for a second, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was a really nice surprise. It was almost going back to like the earlier phases of the MCU, it felt like. The movie felt really fun, really fresh. The dynamic between the team was really fun. A lot of people really enjoyed it, and I believe that the movie ended up making around about the $800 million mark, which is a really good success for Guardians of the Galaxy. It goes to show just how popular, the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise still is. People love it. Even though the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy has now come to an end, I do believe that we may see them pop up at some point in the future due to their popularity. But anyway, guys, so Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Tiona Paris, and Nia DaCosta will need better legs if that's possible. Sorry if I butchered any of those names. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opened with 118.4 million weekend, compared to Volume 2's massive 146.5 million. I think that's due to the fact that, Marvel's on a bit of a decline at the moment. The superhero movies aren't as fresh as they used to be. There's a little bit of superhero fatigue. It's obvious to anybody, if you just ask anybody, the decline in box office, decline in kind of interest in these movies now. The fact that Marvel's not doing so hot on their streaming service. Anyway, guys, which I think is part due to failure of the MCU since the release of Captain Marvel, as well as the fact that Volume 3 followed Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is a complete bust. Yeah, there was a lot of people that really didn't like that movie, felt that it was a bit too silly, a bit too far into the multiverseness of it all, and Kang wasn't really a compelling villain. I didn't find him that scary or that intimidating. Ant-Man just punched him in the face and had a wrestling fight with him on screen. It was okay. I enjoyed the Ant-Man character as much as the next person, but the film was just kind of mediocre at best, really. So, another disaster, for Kevin Feige, 75% decrease. So, if the Marvel ticket sales are less than a third of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, via box office theory, more on that below, that could mean that the Marvel's box office could open to less than a third of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opening box office, which would be $39 million or less. If the ticket sales hold true, the potential $39 million box office opening for the Marvels would be a complete disaster for Kevin Feige, as the first Captain Marvel opened to a whopping $153.4 million back in 2019. So the sequel would be a decrease of nearly 75%. Wow, guys, going from 153.4 million opening to 39 million or less, that's horrendously bad. They put out these movies hoping to see an increase, like a trajectory increase, making more and more money as they go along. You can take a slight hit here and there, but you want to see the money, stabilizing or kind of increasing with time. But to have a 75% decrease on your opening weekend as a sequel in the franchise, real bad sign, guys. And it goes to show, like I say, I think people are just fed up with these cookie cutter Marvel movies, these generic kind of superhero movies that we've now seen thousands of, and a little bit of superhero fatigue is setting in, I believe. As I noted, there is a lot of tickets left. So, no Avengers movies. Kevin Feige doesn't have 2 Avengers movies to sandwich the sequel between. He also dropped Captain Marvel from the sequel titles, as well as writing and directing team behind the first billion-dollar Captain Marvel movie. Imagine the respective titles for the Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, and Guardian sequels not using their titles. So Brie Larson dropped as star. Brie Larson dropped as star, new captain on board. Feige also dropped Brie Larson as the star and brought in two Marvels. Yeah, that's because he knows that Brie Larson cannot carry the movie by herself. She doesn't have the shoulders to carry the movie, so they had to bring in two other superheroes to try and support her in maintaining the movie. So Iman Vellani and Kamala Khan now star in the Captain Marvel sequel. Sorry if I butchered those names. I do apologize. I'm really bad at reading actors' names. Now stars in Captain Marvel sequel, whose own Disney Plus show is the least watched MCU series and whose character has failed time and time again in the comics and in the video games. Yeah, I mean, you look at the Avengers video game, that was going to be an absolute smash hit. It was supposed to be amazing. And I believe that one of the central characters was Ms. Marvel. And, people didn't really enjoy it. The game was generic. It was boring. People didn't like the fact that Ms. Marvel featured so heavily in it. And as it says here, the Kamala Khan just isn't that popular. People just don't care that much about her. So don't believe me? Tiona Paris has also been brought in as Captain Rambo. Imagine two captains in the Chris Evans Captain America movies. This is Captain America. This is Captain Britain. This is Captain America. This is Captain Britain. It's just like, no, you need to feature on one captain. Just have one captain. Director throws Feige under the bus. Also, don't forget the director threw Kevin Feige under the bus in a recent interview, where she didn't bother to say anything good about the Marvels or the cast. Yeah, I mean, if you've got your own director coming out in interviews and saying bad stuff about their own movie, I mean, what more is there to say? What more can you say about that? So Nia DaCosta said the movie isn't her movie. That is Kevin Feige's movie. She also said she had all kinds of problems while filming, and it's done with Marvel, and of course was surprised by the white dude respect on set, whatever that means. Redditors upset. Per the norm, Redditors are upset, which has seen the moderator of the R box office respond in an attempt to calm them down. I am a mod on R box office too. I knew a post like this would show up here eventually, so I want to clear some things up and provide additional context. Firstly, as you know, it hasn't even been a day since pre-sales started. Secondly, the first day pre-sales are an indicator for the opening weekend projection. But just because the pre-sales are slow doesn't mean the movie is going to flop. That's why trades use several weeks worth of pre-sale data to make their opening weekend projections. Thirdly, some movies start hot off the gate when tickets go on sale, while others rely on word of mouth and walk-in business. Box office total and our box office had a meltdown when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pre-sales were allegedly a disaster, and then it turned out to be fine with close to 120 million opening because great word of mouth and walkings. Yeah, that's an absolute possibility, guys. Some movies that are really, really popular and people can't wait to go out and see will have an explosion at the box office in their opening weekend, and they can make 150 million open weekend, they can make 125 million opening weekend, and then they can go on and they can have a slow burn, and the box office will total up. Some movies come out, they have a slightly low opening weekend because people aren't in a rush to see it. If it's not a sequel or a big franchise, it can have a slow opening weekend, but then if word of mouth is good, like a TV show almost, more and more people will, walk in, and it will get more and more business as time goes on if word of mouth spreads. People will go back and revisit it several times. They'll bring friends and family. They'll tell colleagues, they'll tell friends. More and more people will come as the box office run goes on. And if a movie has good legs, it can go on to make a huge amount of money. So there's two different ways, that box office amounts can total up. On the other side of the spectrum, Taylor Swift's Eras Tours film had record-breaking pre-sales. You might have seen the headlines that resulted in trades almost guaranteeing 100 million plus opening weekend domestically, and even going as high as 125 million. However, based on ticket sales from this week's box office total, is now saying that despite the huge pre-sales, it might not open to 100 million. So yeah, I would not start panicking yet. I just want to say, guys, go off on a tangent again. This Taylor Swift Eras Tour, right? If this goes on to make a ridiculous amount of money, then I think you're going to see over the next few years, you're going to see more studios attempt to do this with music artists. They're going to attempt to film tours or film gigs or concerts and then put them out as potential movies. Because you just know in Hollywood, when something goes on to make a ton of money, gets a ton of popularity, other Hollywood studios will look at it, their eyebrows will get raised, and they'll think, okay, how can we duplicate that success? So I'm just saying, guys, if you see this Taylor Swift Eras Tour film go on to make a ridiculous amount, you can almost guarantee that in the next few years, you'll start seeing other, other tour music or concert films come out and try to replicate it. I guarantee. Anyway, guys, yeah, just wanted to say that. So yeah, I would not start panicking just yet. Trades and industry sources seem to believe that the SAG strike will likely resolve by the end of the month, so the cast will be able to do a press tour, which will likely increase awareness and ticket sales. Yeah, it's an absolute sort of proven science, guys, that press junkets, press tours, they absolutely promote the film. They get more butts and seats, more awareness is spread about a movie, so they do work, so they do make a difference. The Marvels gets released on November 10th. So yeah, guys, that's kind of where we are. It looks like the pre-sales for the Marvels isn't very good, isn't looking that high. It's only a third of what Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did. And but it's not the end all, it's not the be all end all kind of thing. Like it says in this article here, they could have a slow open, but it could have long legs and go on to generate a lot of money in the long term rather than in a big weekend, So that's kind of where we are, guys. Jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Do you expect this movie to flop? Do you expect it to make a lot of money? Are you excited to see it? Just let me know your general comments around, the Marvels film, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.